the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Sam Menzie, and we have a great show for you today. First three topics we'll be going over is recapping every single pick from the MLB Draft, giving my thoughts on it and just overall opinions. After that, we'll be going into previewing the Home Run Derby, which does happen tonight. Very excited for that. Then finally going over Hunter Harvey being traded to the Kansas City Royals. But before we do all that, I'd like to ask you to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers to ensure that your question does get read on the air. Please use the link, GSMCpodcast.net. It really does help the show, and it really does mean a lot. So thank you so much for that. And let's get into the show for today. All right, so first topic we'll be going over is, as I said, the draft picks from the draft that happened yesterday. All of them will be going from first segment picks 1 to 10. After that, 11 to 20, then 21 to 30. So let's get into it. So first overall, the Cleveland Guardians had the pick, and with the first overall pick in the 2024 MLB Draft, the Cleveland Guardians selected Travis Bazzana, second baseman from Oregon State. Now, this was not a surprise to me whatsoever. I don't think it's a surprise to anyone. I did not have him mocked going first overall. I will make that very clear. I got this pick wrong. But going into this draft yesterday, I had a pretty good idea, at least what I thought was going to be the top three. I was wrong, but the top one I got at least right. Going into it, I thought, okay, it was going to be either J.J. Weatherholt from West Virginia or Travis Bazzana from Oregon State. Weatherholt would have been the underslot pick, so the Guardians would have been able to save a lot more money down the road. But Bazzana is just genuinely the better player, which I think most people would agree on. So the Guardians did end up going with the better player here in Bazzana, which I think is the correct decision. I understand that you want to be able to save money, be able to pay some, higher level second round prospects down the line, but at the same time, I think winning the draft lottery, going from basically the last pick in it to the top pick, is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, especially in baseball. So to be able to get that, I think you've got to just not worry about financials for once as a Cleveland team and just take the best player, and that's what they do here in Bazzana. Bazzana is an incredible, incredible player, basically does every single thing well on the baseball field. Hits for power, hits for contact, plays a great second baseman, shortstop, runs the bases incredibly well, is a leader, is a role model, is a fantastic, fantastic player. I think should be the Guardians' starting second baseman or shortstop in the next 2 to 3 years. Could be even be sooner. I mean, I know he talked about going up when the Guardians' playoff run, making his debut there, but obviously I think that was a joke. So, yeah, I don't really know what else to say about Bazzana other than he's a fantastic, fantastic player. I think every single person had really shown that he, really every single person thought that he was either the best or the second best player in the entire draft. So the fact that he did go number 1 overall to the Guardians is a good thing, and Guardians made the right pick in my opinion. Great job. So next, second overall in the 2024 MLB Draft, we had the Cincinnati Reds selecting Chase Burns, right-handed pitcher from Wake Forest. Now this to me was a shocker. I had expected all along for it to be Charlie Condon out of Georgia to go second overall to the Reds. That's who I heard them connected to. That's who I thought made the most sense. And not that Chase Burns isn't a really good player. I mean, I expected him to go 3, so I've obviously got number 2 and 3 wrong. I got them switched, I should say. But yeah, Burns is a fantastic player. I just really do not expect him to go number 2. So looking at Burns, I mean, he's a fantastic, fantastic prospect. There's a reason he went number 2 overall. Has an incredible fastball, has an incredible slider, has just insane stuff for a guy. I mean, he can throw 101, 102 if he really wants to. So he's an absolutely incredible starting pitcher prospect. I think could be up really next year as a real part of that rotation. And looking at the future of this Reds rotation now, you have guys like Rhett Lauder, who is his teammate in college, actually. You have, of course, Hunter Green, who just made the All-Star team. Nick Lodolo, that's a great top 4 for your future. That's fantastic. And I think when you're looking at this Reds team, they have an incredible hitting core, and being able to get now a true elite pitching prospect, a guy who should probably slot into one of the top 20 to 25 prospects in all of baseball now. Just a fantastic, fantastic pick, and yeah, great job by the Reds. I was surprised. I would have gone with Condon, to be perfectly honest, but I get why they went with Burns. And yeah, the thing with Burns we have to watch out for is he has a great fastball, he has a great slider, but what else does he have? I think really for him to be as successful as he needs to be in the major league level, he needs to develop a third pitch. And believe me, he's going to have all the time in the world to do that. The Reds are going to take their time with him. And they have, I'm sure, great developmental coaches. He's their MLB organization. So he does need to develop a third pitch. I think that's pretty clear. His fastball and slider are absolutely elite, nasty, but I think he needs to develop that third pitch, be able to be a real great starting pitcher in this league, which I think he can be. So next, third overall pick, we have the Colorado Rockies selecting Charlie Condon, outfielder from Georgia. The fact that the Rockies were able to get Condon here at the border number 3 is absolutely fantastic. Condon has light tower power. I believe led all of NCAA baseball in home runs. was just an absolute monster this year for Georgia. Really came out of nowhere and was slugging his way through all of college. And yeah, just an absolutely fantastic player. Has had an incredible season. I'm just realizing right now I did not update the title to this on YouTube. Probably for watching live, I apologize if you're confused. But I'm going to keep going here. With Condon, this guy has just insane power. Has an incredible, compact right-handed swing that I think really is absolutely fantastic. The fact that he's going to be able to play in Coors Field for 81 of his games is just unfair. I mean, really, I don't know how the league let this happen, but the fact that he was available for 3 here at the board for the Rockies is just a great job by them to be able to do that, and I'm sure they were ecstatic to be able to get him. Again, I really think he could end up being a 40 to 50 home run bat in Coors Field. Again, I just think really it's unfair to be able to get this kind of power in Coors. A guy who can be up probably by the end of next year, maybe even the start of this year, end of this year if you really wanted him to be a franchise-changing talent that I think is absolutely fantastic. And yeah, what a great pick by the Rockies here. You had to take him if he was available at 3, and just a really great job. And yeah, just an incredible pick here by the Rockies. I think he works so well within this organization, and yeah, this Rockies future is looking really nice. They have some really nice pieces, and Condon I think is going to add to that. So a fantastic pick here, and props to them for being able to get him and recognize the talent that was here on the board and available to them. So yeah, we are going to go to the 4th pick here. I'm just trying to update the title as I forgot to. Hopefully this is going to be working. Okay, so going into our 4th pick here now, we have 4th overall. We have the Oakland Athletics selecting Nick Kurtz, first baseman from Wake Forest. Now, this was one of the real big surprises of the draft. I really did not have Nick Kurtz going anywhere near the top 4. And the fact that the A's picked him really did catch me off the guard. Now, I do like Nick Kurtz a lot. I compared him to Mark Teixeira a lot in this as an athletic first baseman who has a lot of power, but also can field the position very well, which I still think is true. But as much as I like Kurtz, I would not have taken him here at number 4. I understand maybe you wanted to save money under slot, which is fine. I just think the available talent here at number 4 was pretty great, and to be able to pass up on guys like a Jack Caglione or a J.J. Weatherholt or a Hagen Smith, I just don't think makes a lot of sense. And yeah, I think that overall this is a really good pick. It is. He's a very good player. There's a reason he went top 4. There's a reason he's been in these conversations. But most picks were him going maybe 7 to 10, not really in the top 4. So as much as I like the pick, I think is a really great power-hitting first baseman, going to be someone that can really carry the franchise over to Vegas. I just don't think that it's the best pick you could have made. I just think passing up guys like Jack Caglione for this doesn't really make sense. So I think Caglione is a much better player. But if you want to go under slot, this is a good pick, I guess. But still, if I'm just going purely off best pick, I don't really agree with this. Next, we have the Chicago White Sox selecting 5th overall in the 2024 MLB Draft, Hagen Smith, left-handed pitcher from Arkansas. This is also a little bit of a what moment for me. I think Hagen Smith's a really good prospect. I do. I think this is a guy who is a very crafty left-handed starting pitcher, has some good stuff. He's going to be a plus MLB pitcher in the future. Probably be up rather soon for this White Sox team. We'll probably take the Chris Sale, Garrett Crochet route with him, make him a reliever for his first 2 years or so, then ease him into being a starting pitcher, which I think is cool. But Hagen Smith has already had Tommy John in his career. He's not the greatest starting pitcher on the board. And I just think, again, passing up talent like J.J. Weatherholt, like Jack Caglione for him is just kind of weird. I get it. He's a good player. I want to get that right, but I think there were better players on the board, and I think the injury risk is something you have to deal with. So next, 6th overall, we have the Kansas City Royals selecting Jack Caglione, first baseman, left-handed pitcher from Florida. Yeah, fantastic pick. I talked about him. I thought he should have really probably gone number 4, and the fact that he was still available at number 6 here for this Kansas City Royals team is absolutely fantastic. If him and Bobby Witt Jr. are the next dynamic duo in all of baseball, I really would not be surprised. This guy is so good. He has light tower power as a left-handed hitter, can really hit 40 to 50 home runs every year. I would not be surprised. I don't think he's going to be a pitcher at the next major league level, but if worse comes to worse and he flames out as a hitter, you still have him being a pitcher in your back pocket. So you get that as well if the Royals team, but you're not focusing on that whatsoever. You're getting a franchise first baseman who can come up probably next year, in the middle of next year, I'd say, can be an immense power bat that can slot right into the middle of that lineup. Again, him and Bobby Witt, I think, can really turn around this Royals franchise and really be two stars of this team for a long, long time. So an absolutely fantastic pick. He has name power as well. I think if worse comes to worse, he can be Texas Rangers Joey Gallo, which is just home run or strikeouts. He does need to cut down on those strikeouts to be a successful bat, but at the same time still has a ton of talent, is a very, very good player. So number 6, I think this is one of the steals of the draft. I don't know how he's still available here, but fantastic, fantastic pick. 7th overall, we have the St. Louis Cardinals selecting J.J. Weatherholt, shortstop, second baseman from West Virginia. What a fantastic pick by this Cardinals team. J.J. Weatherholt was the guy I had going first overall to the Guardians for 2 straight mocks, and the fact that you're able to get him at number 7 is fantastic. Now, it's not like he was the best talent in the draft. He just was maybe going first overall because of the bonus pool stuff, but still, I would say a definite top 5 talent in this draft. Is absolutely fantastic. Will create a electric middle infield duo with him and Mason Wynn for years to come. Is a fantastic, fantastic hitting player. I heard a comparison on the ESPN coverage I was watching last night for the draft, and they said he's not elite at anything, but he's very good at everything, and I thought that was so true. This is a guy that is going to hit 20 to 25 home runs, hit around 290, have a triple slash of probably an OPS probably around 850. He's going to play great defense. He's going to steal 30, 40 bases. It's just an incredible, incredible talent to be able to get here at number 7, and a great pick by this Cardinals team. Fantastic, fantastic job. 8th overall, we have the Los Angeles Angels selecting Christian Moore, third baseman from Tennessee. Really good pick. I really like the power hitting potential you have in Christian Moore here. You can add another piece to your young hitting core, add in with guys like Nolan Schanuel, Zach Neto, Logan O'Hoppe. You can add in this guy who I think should be up relatively soon. Again, he's a college bat. All these college bats can be up pretty soon. So, yeah, I like this pick a lot by the Angels. Please don't rush him up like you have your other few prospects. He's really, really good, and I think it was a great pick by the Angels to be able to get this guy, Christian Moore. Fantastic, fantastic pick. Yeah, no doubts here. 9th overall, we have the first high school player going off the board with the Pittsburgh Pirates selecting Connor Griffin, shortstop / outfielder, Pittsburgh. Connor Griffin has to figure out what position he is first. He also has pitching in his back pocket as well. A lot of two-way players in this draft. I mean, wow, Tony's done a number on this league. But, yeah, Connor Griffin, not much to say because he's a high school bat. Has a lot of raw talent, has a lot of raw strength, is an incredible, incredible athlete. I think the Pirates are really playing the long game with this guy. Will probably be up in 4 to 5, maybe even 6 years, but still is a fantastic, fantastic prospect, and I think Pirates really knocked it out of the board at this one. If I was them, I might have taken a more MLB ready prospect, maybe like a James Tibbs or a Braden Montgomery, but I get it. You're playing the long game here, but I think you kind of need some MLB bats. But again, you don't draft for now. You draft for just the best player you see, and if Connor Griffin was their best player, I don't see any doubts with that. He's a fantastic, fantastic pick here, and has a lot of potential. And finally, number 10 here, we have the Washington Nationals selecting Seaver King from Wake Forest. King is a really nice contact-hitting second baseman shortstop. Can really play all over the infield as well. I shouldn't say contact-hitting, just really a good hitter as well. He's been compared a lot to Mookie Betts, and of course, I don't really think he's going to be as good as Mookie. It's hard to beat, but still is a fantastic, fantastic player and has a ton of potential. I do think it is funny that a guy named Seaver will be in the same division as the Mets, but yeah, I think this is a really good pick for this Nationals team. Can be up rather quickly and add into this amazing young hitting core they're building there with C.J. Abrams, James Wood, Dylan Cruz, Robert Hassel. So, yeah, I think Seaver King was a really good pick by this Nationals team. He's a very good infielder, and again, should be up rather quickly and add in. So, yeah, that is our first segment here, talking about picks 1 to 10 in this MLB draft. Moving into our second segment, we'll be talking about the picks 11 to 20 for the MLB draft, so going over that. So yeah, we'll be doing that, and we'll see you after the break. So thanks, and bye.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing losing it. The noose, it fits some loose shit. A stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
And we're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our second segment, which is going to be talking about picks 11 to 20 in this MLB Draft. But before we do that, though, I'd like to ask you again to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your question does get read in the air, please use the link, gsmcpodcast.net. It really does help the show, and it really does mean a lot, so thank you so much for that. And let's get back into the show for today. All right, so going over picks 11 to 20 here for this draft, and let's get into it. So, at 11 overall, we have the Detroit Tigers selecting Bryce Rayner, a shortstop out of high school. Now, Rayner is a really good pick in my opinion. I really like this pick for Detroit. Is from the powerhouse high school that is Harvard-Westlake out there in California. Westlake has produced a ton of MLB talent like Pete Armstrong, Max Reed, Jack Flaherty, I think some others as well. So, obviously has the pedigree there, but Rayner has some really nice hit tool here as a lefty power shortstop. Again, has some really nice power, 55 hit grade, 60 power grade, running 55 grade. Might have to move off shortstop in the long term, maybe to second baseman or third baseman, but I think his hitting will really carry him, and I think this is a really nice long-term pick by Detroit. I maybe would have picked an MLB potential bat, a guy who can come up in the next year or so because of how dire this Tigers team is in bats. I mean, they need bats so badly. And yeah, I think that they really, really need bats. Ooh, sorry about that. We need to, sorry, I forgot to change. There we go. This Tigers team really needs bats, and they are able to get one, but a guy for the long term in Bryce Rayner. So I still think Rayner's a really good pick. I like just the talent for Detroit, but maybe would have picked someone more and I'll be ready. Next, number 12, we have the Boston Red Sox selecting Braden Montgomery, outfielder from Texas A&M. Montgomery was arguably the biggest faller of the entire draft. I would say he's one of, not because there's a guy I'm going to talk about later down the line that was probably the biggest faller. But yeah, was a guy I expected, or most people expected, to go in the top 10. I believe I had him number 8 to the Angels in my last mock, so definitely did not expect him to fall to 12, but he did have an ankle injury that he did suffer at Texas A&M, so I'm sure teams were worried about that, which is one of the reasons he fell. But overall, the Red Sox are getting a really great outfitter here. To be able to get this guy at the spot they were in is really fantastic. A guy who's a top 10 talent by most regards. A switch-hitting outfielder who has a 50 hit grade, 60 power grade, 50 run grade, an arm 70 grade. I mean, it's just a pure stereotypical power arm right fielder here. Is a absolutely fantastic talent. You know, I wasn't the highest on him. I've said that before on the show, but I think at 12, it's such a fantastic get that doesn't. I think it's just a great pick. So, I think the power potential here is absolutely fantastic, especially in a stadium like Boston. I think his swing will work really well, being a switch hitter. So, yeah, I think this is a really, really nice pick for the Red Sox. Has a hitter's body as well. 6'2", 220, pretty perfect for a corner outfielder. Really nice selection by them, and I like it a lot. So, yeah, good for the Red Sox. 13, we had James Tibbs going to the San Francisco Giants, an outfielder from Florida State. Tibbs, lefty outfielder guy, going top 10 in my last mock. So, obviously, I think this is good value here by the Giants. To be able to get him, again, I think is really good value. He's a really nice corner outfielder, has some really nice contact tools, really nice power tools. I just think overall he's a very well-rounded hitter for his age. Isn't going to run the bases the best, isn't going to have the best arm or be the best fielder, but I think as a corner outfielder type is just going to be a very solid hitter. Guy with an 800 OPS consistently. I think personally just is a very good player, and I like the pick a lot. I like the pick a lot by San Francisco, and good job by them. I think, again, it was really good value, and to be able to get this talent at number 13 was a really good selection. 14, we have the Chicago Cubs selecting another Florida State player, Cam Smith. Cam Smith is a really, really nice corner infielder. Played third base at Florida State. I think that's really where he will stay in the MLB. Has some really nice hit tool. Isn't the best at the power. I still think still needs to develop hitting a little bit. May need to find a position as well. I'm not sure if he's going to play third base, first base, or the outfield. But I think the potential's there. I mean, has a really great body size, 6'3", 224, really fills out, is a fantastic, fantastic prospect, and I think it was a really good pick by the Cubs to be able to fill in their farm system even more. I mean, they have just so many great, talented young players in this farm system, and to be able to get one like Cam Smith, I think was a really, really good pick, and props to them, and I really like him a lot. I like what he's able to do. Next, we have one of the most interesting selections in this entire draft. Number 15, we have the Seattle Mariners selecting, I apologize if I butcher this name, Urangelo Cliente. I think I got it right, but I'm not sure. So, if you don't know, Cliente is a switch pitcher. Yes, he's a switch pitcher, for real. He pitches with both arms. Like, it's not something that, he could do it. No, he did it a lot at Mississippi State, where he's from. Was picked 15th overall by the Mariners. The Mariners were connected a lot to him in the pre-draft process, so this is really not a surprise to me. And, man, is he a fascinating player. Now, I want to make it clear that they are picking him for his capabilities. As a right-handed pitcher, it does not seem very likely that he'll be able to continue switch pitching at the major league level. I mean, I remember the guy who did it with the Yankees and the A's. I forgot his name. I think his first name was Pat. I'm forgetting his other name, but his last name. But be able to just have that in your back pocket, like, I could throw righty and I could throw lefty at a high level. It's pretty crazy. But he's a first-round talent as a right-handed pitcher, probably a third or fourth as a lefty. So I'm sure he'll be focusing on righty, but at the same time, it's good to have it in your back pocket that if you're facing maybe a guy, you're going to go to the Mariners. So let's say you're in the division, you're facing Yordan Alvarez, for example. But to have that in your back pocket that you can be able to pitch to the lefty, I think is something that's very valuable and very unique. So I think that definitely helped in the process of drafting him for a Mariner. So I think overall though he's a really good pick. He has a really nice fastball, very nice slider. Not sure about his other pitches. I think his changeup's a little weak. I think his control needs some help, but the raw tools are here. And if he just focuses on right-handed pitching, who knows how good he's going to be. So I really like this pick for Seattle. A very interesting pick, and really interesting as well. Next, we have the Miami Marlins selecting P.J. Morlando, an outfielder. Morlando's an interesting pick. I didn't really expect him to go this high in the draft, to be perfectly honest. I think it is a underslot value guy. I don't really think that he's someone that many people expected to go this high. 43 overall in MLB Pipeline's top 100 draft prospects. 19 years, still in college, was committed to South Carolina. I assume he's going to be signing, but we'll have to see. Some really nice power grade, though. A 55 hit grade, 50 power grade. Isn't the best of the arm. I think will be a corner outfitter, first base type, but can hit really well, has a lot of good tools there. So Marlins must have liked him. They'll be able to sign some other guys in the future. So down the road, not the future, down the road for the second, third rounds, all that kind of stuff. So nice pick there by them, and overall was an interesting pick that I am very interested to see where it will end up. So very interesting there. Next, we have the next pick from the Minnesota Twins. We have Braylon Payne. Actually, not the Minnesota Twins. Sorry, let me try to find his pick. What team picked him? I'm having a little bit of a bad thing here. That was the Milwaukee Brewers. Sorry about that. I was thinking of a different player. Outfielder from Texas here, high school as well. So, I think Payne has a lot of good talent here with the bat. I think is a very good pick by the Milwaukee Brewers. Has a lot of potential within his body type, and has a bat. I think overall is a good player. And, I think the Brewers always know what they're doing, so I'm not really going to question them here. I think it's a very good pick, and props to them for being able to get it done. And, not much to say about him. I think overall, again, it is a good pick, and it's a guy that I think has a lot of talent. Next up, we have another high school player here from the drafted by the Tampa Bay Rays, 18th overall, Theo Gillen. Gillen is an infielder from Westlake, 60 hit tool, 55 power tool, 60 run tool. Again, is a really nice contact speed kind of player. Could be a guy who leads off for the Rays in the future. They always draft middle infielders because those are the most athletic players in the field. So they're able to switch around positions a lot in the future. So I like this pick a lot. I think he has really good tools, and I think it's a very Raysy type of pick, very kind of twitchy kind of guy. So I like this pick a lot, and props to them for being able to get it done. 19, we have my team, the New York Mets. We have selected Carson Benj, outfielder, right-handed pitcher from Oklahoma State. Now, this is the second Oklahoma State two-way player we have drafted in the last 2 years. We selected Nolan McLean as well, who actually was announced during this press conference because both of them are boys. They're pretty good friends, that he would just be focusing on pitching, so that is interesting. But Benj is the opposite. Benj was drafted as an outfielder. The Mets kept raving about him as a five-tool center fielder type, which I think is fair. I think he has the talent to be able to do that. Is a very, very good power-hitting outfielder. Is really, again, probably has the tools to be able to stick in center field as a player for the Mets in the future. Adds into this young outfield talent they have, just a young hitting core they have with guys like Jet Williams, Drew Gilbert, Luis Angel Acuna, Ronnie Mauricio, Francisco Alvarez, Mark Vientos. I think is a really good pick. They've been connected to him a lot in the pre-draft process to be able to get him. I think is a really good job by them and their scouts. So yeah, really good pick here, and I think will add a lot to the young hitting core. Props to the Mets for being able to get it done. And finally, we have number 20 here from the Toronto Blue Jays, JioSaavn. I don't know how he fell to 20. This is a guy that most people had expected to go top 15, maybe even top 10. Is probably the number 3 consensus pitching prospect behind Hagen Smith and Chase Burns. And the Blue Jays being able to get him here at number 20 is really fantastic. I think this is a plus pitcher that is going to be able to come up to the major leagues in the next 1 to 2 years. It's going to really help out in their rotation. Maybe a shining light while this team goes through the rebuild that we all believe it's going to happen. So I think a really, really fantastic pick to be able to get JioSaavn, and I don't know how he fell, but an insane value pick by this Blue Jays team here, and props to them for being able to draft him and taking advantage of his slide. I think this is really one of the biggest surprises of the entire draft. So that is it for our segment 2 here, talking about picks 11 to 20. Moving into our third segment, which is going to be talking about picks 21 to 30. So yeah, we'll be doing that, and that'll be the end of our draft coverage after that. So yeah, going to the break. So we'll see you then. Thanks, and bye.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
And we're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our third segment. But before we do that, again, please like and follow the show. It does help us a lot. It really does mean a lot, so thank you so much for that. GSMC Podcast on that. And let's get back into the show here today. All right, so third segment, talking about our draft picks, number 21 to 30. We just went over 1 to 10, 11 to 20, so of course now we have to do 21 to 30. Now, obviously, these guys are a little less known as they are in smaller parts of the draft, but at the same time, I still think that they're notable, and I did want to just be able to give my full attention to the draft and be able to talk about them to the fullest ability. So yeah, very interested in talking about this here, and let's get into it. So first off, starting us off here at number 21 overall, the Minnesota Twins have selected Kalen Culpepper, a shortstop from Kansas State. Now, Culpepper is an interesting one. He's 21 years old, 6 foot, 185. I think should be able to stick at shortstop. Doesn't have the greatest of hitting tools. Hitting tool is at a 55, power 45. Not the greatest, but I still think there is potential there. But I think really the fielding, the glove is where he's going to shine. Has a fantastic, fantastic arm. I think, honestly, the glove there at short is really, really good, and I think this is just an upside play with the hitting. I don't really know if he should be up in the next 1 to 2 years like I think a lot of college bats people expect him to be, but I still think he's able to be a top prospect for this Twins team, a guy you can have in the wings waiting for maybe when Correa starts to regress in the future. So, yeah, I think this is a really good pick, very interesting pick. Did not exactly expect him to go this high, but overall, a good pick by the Twins. They obviously liked him, and I think a very interesting one here by the Twins, and I think there's a lot to like about him. Next up, we have at number 22 overall, the Baltimore Orioles selecting Vance Honeycutt, an outfielder from North Carolina. Honeycutt was someone I expected to go very higher. I thought his floor was the Mets, to be perfectly honest. I thought if he was available at 19, there would be no way the Mets passed on him. Obviously, they did. So, he did go a little lower than I expected, but I love this guy a lot. I think he has insane power tools. He is an absolute gold glover in center field. Even if he doesn't hit, he's going to be one of the best gloves in all baseball, in my opinion. Again, needs to get the hitting tool up. I think, might be a little bit of a Joey Gallo type, where he not with the power, not as much power as Gallo has, but being a really good defender out there in the outfield and also having a ton of power. I don't really know how much contact he's going to make, so I do think that the glove I do think that the glove is going to be able to develop. The bat has to be able to develop more. I think that's really what has to happen here with Honeycutt. I think, again, the glove is really good. The floor of him is really good because of that, but I think he has to hit more. And, with this Orioles team, you have so many good prospects on this team. Just so many guys that are just good and young. And I think being able to take a chance on a guy like Vance Honeycutt is because you have the luxury of having all these great prospects. So I think it's a really good fit for this Orioles team. I really like it, and just a solid pick here by this Orioles team. I think it makes a lot of sense for player and team. Next off, we have the Los Angeles Dodgers at 23. We have them selecting Kellen Lindsey, a shortstop from Hardy High School in Florida. Lindsey's an interesting pick. I think he's going to take a while to develop. I think he has some really nice tools, really nice frame as a player, but I think needs to develop a lot more. And there's no better organization than that for the Dodgers. They are masters at development, and I think this is a really good pick for player, for team, and organization as well. So I think overall this makes a ton of sense and is just a very good matching of player, of team, organization, and just fit all together. So yeah, really nice fit here, and yeah, really good pick. Next off, we have probably the biggest faller of this entire draft. We have the Atlanta Braves selecting Cam Comanche, left-handed pitcher from Saguaro High School in Arizona. Now, Comanche was a guy most people had expected to easily go top 20, probably even top 15, maybe even top 10 if you really want to stretch it. But Comanche is a 17-year-old freak left-handed starting pitcher, has insane pitches. His fastball's amazing. His slider's great. His changeup's great. His curveball is okay. His control needs some working on, but that's always it for younger players as well. So, yeah, the Braves to be able to get him here at number 24 is just insane value. And as much as a lot of people like him, I'm just not a huge fan personally of high school pitchers. I think taking a high school pitcher always in the first round really just isn't a great idea because they just have so much more taxing on their arm that has to go. And I just think at some point they are going to get Tommy John. They are going to get injured. I just think that's how it works nowadays. But I've learned to not really, I've learned not to question the Braves. They have such a good organizational philosophy and have just shown throughout the years that they are such a good organization. So I'm really not going to, test them and, doubt them. But I'm not a big fan of taking high school pitchers first round. But Comanche's 17 years old, a fantastic prospect, has a long room to grow. And I think that overall is a very good prospect. And, makes a lot of sense going to this Braves team. But again, left-handed pitcher, not left-handed pitchers, college pitchers, just not for me. 25 overall, we have the San Diego Padres selecting Cash Mayfield, a left-handed pitcher from high school in Elk City. Another high school arm, just again, not a big fan, but Mayfield has a lot of good stuff here. I think, again, as a high school pitcher, you're picking him for the future. Has some good stuff, has a good body. 6'4", 200 is an intimidating presence here out there on the mound for San Diego. Has a really good fastball. Needs to develop some other pitches more, but his changeup is really fantastic. I think really his fastball changeup combo is really, really nice. He controls both pitches very well, so there's a lot to like here already as a pitcher. But again, just a high school pitcher, again, personally for me, just not my preference. So I still like him, but not the greatest. 26th overall, we have the New York Yankees selecting Ben Hess, right-handed pitcher out of Alabama. Now, Yankees fans are going to look at his stats in college, see he has a 6 ERA, and be like, why in the world did we pick Ben Hess? Now, I think that's a fair question, but you're not picking for the results. You're picking for the process. You're picking for what he can be in the future. You're not looking at college numbers ever. I mean, it helps with hitters, definitely, but for pitchers, it makes no sense. His stuff is good. He's been a good pitcher in the future. It looked like apparently he was tipping his pitches in college. So you're not picking him for his numbers. You're picking him for what you think he can be. You think, apparently the Yankees like his windup a lot. They like the stuff he has. They like his fastball. So, this was a little perplexing of a pick. I think, it wasn't the greatest pick, but if the Yankees like him, they like him. Again, I'm not just going to sit here and say, oh, that's a bad pick, because the Yankees know what they're doing. And, 27th overall, we have the Philadelphia Phillies selecting Dante Nori, outfielder from a high school in Michigan. Nice outfield bat here for the Phillies out of high school. I think Nori has a ton of potential here as a high schooler. Has a really nice body as a high schooler. Can hit the ball very well. Has a good glove out there in outfield. So I think it was a really nice developmental pick by the Phillies playing the long-term game here. And just a solid pick, and I like it a lot. Next, we have 28 overall, the Houston Astros selecting Walker Yannick from Sam Houston State, a catcher. Probably the best catcher in this draft. I don't really know if there's anyone else that can compete with him. Wasn't a great catcher last year. For this year, Malcolm Moore as well was a high catching prospect, but other than that, really not much else. So Yannick, I think, was a really nice pick here by Houston. Again, you might say, oh, they have Yanner Diaz. Why are they picking a catcher? You don't pick for the position. You pick for the best overall player. If they thought Yannick was the best, he was the best. I think that Yannick has a lot of potential as a hitting catcher. I think it's stay a catcher as well, which is really nice. Has some really good hitting tools here. And, I just think it's a very solid left-handed bat pick for this Astros team. And, really good pick. Next, we have the Arizona Diamondbacks selecting Slade Caldwell, an outfielder from high school in Arizona here. So local boy, the Arizona Diamondbacks were able to get. That's really nice. Caldwell is a guy I really like. I think he has insane power for a kid his age. I think it's just a very, very good pick, and I think makes a lot of sense here in the Diamondbacks organization. Again, hits the ball really well, has some really nice hitting tool, can play center field, can play the outfield. And, I think that, honestly, it's a really, really good pick. And being able to keep him in state in Arizona, I'm sure he's very happy about that. So, very good pick there. Sorry, actually, I was completely wrong about this. He's from Arkansas. I read the state wrong. I saw AR, and I was like, oh, Arizona. No, Arizona is not AR. That is my fault, completely. But, so ignore everything I said about the hometown thing. I read it wrong, so I apologize about that. But still, really good player. I like him a lot, so sorry about that. Going to the final pick of the first round here, we have the World Series champion Texas Rangers selecting Malcolm Moore, a catcher from Stanford. As I said, was the other top catching prospect here. I think has some really good hitting talent here. I think could be up rather quickly for this Texas team. Can be a replacement for Jonah Heim whenever he does end up leaving this team. I don't know. That's not going to be a little while, but still, overall is a good prospect here. I like it a lot. Again, I think he can be able to stick a catcher. I think that his hitting tool is really nice, and I think overall is a really good pick here. So that was the first round picks here for the MLB Draft. All 30 of them, going over that. I do want to mention some second round picks I really like. First off, Brody Brecht of Iowa was a guy who was a projected top 10 pick before the season. Didn't have the best season and fell to the second round, and the Rockies were able to pick him up. So I think that was a really nice pickup by the Rockies. I still think he has a ton of potential, and I'm just really hoping that he can be able to develop even going to Colorado in that stadium. So I did just want to mention Brody Brecht as a guy I thought was a really nice second round pick. Overall, I think the Rockies really did great in this draft. I think being able to get Gonzon, being able to get Brecht was fantastic, and just a really, really nice draft by them. Really did not expect that, but man, I got to mention again, Condon in Colorado is terrifying. That's terrifying with that power there. So, that was our third segment here, going over the MLB Draft and just all the picks. Moving into our fourth segment here, which is going to be talking about the Home Run Derby, which is happening tonight. I'll be previewing it, going over my picks, and talk about that, and we'll see you after the break. So, thanks, and bye.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
And we're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our fourth segment, which is going to be talking about the Home Run Derby and previewing it tonight. It is happening tonight here at 8 o'clock on ESPN, so be sure to watch if you're a baseball fan. Always one of the most fun, exciting events of the entire year, and I'm always very, very excited to watch it, and I think it's going to be a great, great time. So we are going to be going over the selections here, going over all of them, my thoughts on them, and then talking about who I think will win, what I think it's going to look like, and all that. So let's get into that. So first off, we have from the Kansas City Royals, Bobby Witt Jr. Witt has really just broken out as a superstar in this league since coming up last year. Got that huge extension from Kansas City. It was something like 12 years, I think, and has deserved every single penny and has been fantastic. Has become one of the biggest young superstars in this entire league. Being able to return to Texas as well, where his dad played, is very, very nice. And has insane power even for a righty shortstop. I think was a really, really great pick, and very excited to watch him. I thought, honestly, again, it was a really great pick, and very, very excited to be able to watch what Witt Jr. does here in this Home Run Derby. Next, we have the hometown boy from Texas, from the Texas Rangers, the hometown team, the World Series champions, Adolis Garcia. Garcia was in this last year as well. Hit the ball so far. I mean, I don't know if there's anyone with just more hitting power than Adolis Garcia. His arms are massive. Could be a bodybuilder if he wasn't playing baseball. It just has insane power. And I think that overall Adolis is a fantastic pick for this. I don't think there was any Ranger they really could have picked that would have been better than Garcia. Is a fantastic talent, and being able to have him here in this Home Run Derby in Texas for his team is a really great job, and I'm very, very excited to watch him here for his hometown team. I think this is a fantastic pick. Next up, we have from my New York Mets, Pete Alonso. I mean, how are you going to have the Home Run Derby without Alonso, right? He's going for the tie of the most Home Run Derby wins ever, with 3 tying the legendary Ken Griffey Jr. If anyone could do it, it's Pete. I know people on the internet make fun of him for how seriously he takes the Home Run Derby, but look, it's fun. And he donates all the winnings to his dog charity or kids or something like that. So it's always a nice cause, and it's not like he's just doing it for himself. So I'm very excited to see Pete again. Very excited to see how locked in he gets. And we'll be there with his teammate Jose Iglesias, who will be performing his hit song OMG at the Home Run Derby, which has become a rallying cry for the Mets and has become very fun. So very exciting to be able to see Pete Alonso in this Home Run Derby again. If anyone could be a three-peater, it's him. And very excited to watch him here. Has, of course, some insane power. Is having a little bit of a down season this year. Just the pure power Pete does have is incredible, and I'm very excited to be able to watch him. Next, we have from the Los Angeles Dodgers, Teoscar Hernandez. Hernandez was a bit of a surprise pick, as he's having a really good season, just not someone you maybe would expect to be into this kind of competition. But I think it's well-deserved. Hernandez has had a fantastic season since signing that one-year deal in Los Angeles after leaving Seattle. Has become a real great power-hitting outfielder for the Dodgers team. Has become a huge part of their lineup. You have, of course, superstars like Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, but being able to have a guy like Teoscar Hernandez really keeps you together. And I think, again, is a fantastic pick, and overall is a really good pick for this Derby, and I'm very excited to be able to watch him. Next, we have from the Atlanta Braves, Marcell Ozuna. Ozuna was surprised this year, as he did have an incredible season out of nowhere. Was going to be dumped by the Braves last year for a contract dump for him for Patrick Corbin, apparently. So the fact that he has been able to really get his career back on track in this way, be able to be one of the best hitters on all baseball, is really good. So props to him. Just going to a darker topic for a second, I just don't understand why they picked him, to be perfectly honest with you guys. There's a lot of off-the-field issues he's had in his career. They've never really been answered. He's never really paid for them, I'd say, quote unquote. So I just don't understand, with all the better picks they've had, why they want to put him in this Derby. Just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But he's had a really good season, I guess, just looking at it baseball-wise. But it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to ignore the off-the-field stuff that Ozuna has allegedly done and has been suspended for as well. So I just don't know if I agree with this pick entirely. Just baseball-wise, it makes sense, I guess. But next, we have from the Cleveland Guardians, Jose Ramirez. Ramirez has done this Home Run Derby before, has gone very far before, has some insane power as a switch hitter, so it'll be very interesting to see if he bats from the left side or the right side. overall has incredible power, always has. He's one of the most underrated players in all of baseball, and yeah, I think that overall this is a great pick for the home run derby here. I really like this pick to be able to get Jose Ramirez in here. Next, we have from the Baltimore Orioles, one of the biggest power hitters of all baseball, Gunnar Henderson. Henderson, since coming up as a prospect with this Orioles team, has done absolutely incredible. I mean, really has just become one of the biggest, baddest lefty power swinging shortstops in the entire league. Has become really, really great, and yeah, overall has become a fantastic talent here for this young Baltimore team. Him and Adley Rutschman really have become the faces of this team, the faces of this franchise, and just, yeah, the way he's carried himself, become a great talent is fantastic. And yeah, great pick here. I'm very excited to watch him. And finally, from the Philadelphia Phillies, Alec Bohm, another surprising pick. Alec Bohm's had a really good breakout season, deserved to be starting the All-Star game, but home run derby, not exactly what I would think of when I'm thinking of Alec Bohm. So, going to the second round here, who do I think will be going to the second round? Because, of course, we are not going to be having seeds this time in the home run derby. It is going to be just what 4 players hit the most home runs in their round. After that, you'll be ranking 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3 of who hit the most home runs. So, who are the 4 players I'm going to be taking to move on to the second round? So, first I'll be taking, of course, Pete Alonso. I don't really think that there's any debate or question mark that he's going to move on to the second round. He's getting his old pitcher back, Dave Joust, who won him the 2 home run derbies in Colorado and Cleveland. So, sorry, in Colorado, not Cleveland. And that duo is absolutely fantastic. And just the pure power Pete has really might be the best in all of baseball. So I'm going with Pete here. Next, I'll be going with the hometown boy, Adolis Garcia from Texas. He has insane power. Again, you just look at his body. It's built as a home run derby guy. So, yeah, I'll be picking him to move on to the second round as well. Next, I'll be picking Jose Ramirez from Cleveland. I think Ramirez is very good at these competitions. The power he has is truly incredible. And, yeah, very interested to be able to see what he does. But I do think he'll move on to the second round. Now, for this last pick, I was between Bobby Witt Jr., Gunnar Henderson, and Teoscar Hernandez to be able to pick him. But I did end up going with Gunnar Henderson. I just think the power Gunnar Henderson shows is just so fantastic. That sweet lefty swing that is so simple. I mean, he just loads up at the top and then really just swings compact through. So, yeah, it's just the swing that Henderson has, the way he carries himself is as a fantastic talent. And, yeah, overall is a really good player, obviously, and I'm very excited to watch him, and I did end up picking him for the second round. Now, who do I think will end up going to the finals? I'm going to end up selecting Pete Alonso and Adolis Garcia. I think, again, these two have the most experience in the home run derby. Both have insane amounts of power, and I think both are most fit for this derby. Now, who do I think is going to win is the real question we have to ask ourselves. Well, if I'm going to guess, I think the winner is going to be Adolis Garcia of the Texas Rangers. I just think being able to be in Texas, in your home ballpark, the amount of power you have, the way you're used to this derby now, I think that Garcia is going to come down with the win here. I think Pete's going to get very close. I do have him, of course, in the final, being able to tie Ken Griffey Jr. for the most home run derby wins. I'm sure he'll take it very seriously, as he always does, but I think Adolis is just going to end up winning this. I think, again, the storyline of him being at home, all the power he has, the way that he carries himself in the home run derby, the talent he has, I really think that he is going to end up winning this derby, and he's going to be our derby champion this year. But we'll see. I'll go over it tomorrow, and yeah, I think that it's going to be very exciting to watch. And him and Pete, I think, are going to have a slug off in the final round. Wouldn't be surprised if any person wins it, honestly, except Alec Bohm. I don't think Alec Bohm is going to win, but I'm sure he'll put up a good fight. But I think if any of these 7 wins, I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm going with Pete Alonso and Adolis Garcia as my finalists. So yeah, that is my 4th segment here, talking about the home run derby and just previewing it. We're going into our 5th and final segment here, which is going to be talking about a trade, one of the first big trades of the entire year. Hunter Harvey has been traded to the Kansas City Royals. That happened, I believe, on Friday night, and I've been wanting to talk about it. So yeah, I love the trade season, and being able to get a big trade like this to happen already is very exciting. So yeah, going over that, and I'll see you after the break. So thanks, and bye. And we're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our fifth and final segment, which is going to be going over one of the first significant trades of really this entire season, which is Hunter Harvey being traded to the Kansas City Royals. So let's get into this. So I am going to be starting to do my full trade deadline previews as we get into the day, which is, of course, July 31st. And Harvey was going to be one of the top relievers available on my board, but he has now been swooped up by the Kansas City Royals 2 full weeks before this trade deadline, and I think it's a really great trade for them. So, going over Hunter Harvey has just been a consistent reliever since coming over to Washington these past few years. Has had a little bit of a down season this year, but I still think is a very good pitcher and will be a very good fit for this Royals team. So, going over his stats now, we're going over the side for the Royals first. Has 10 K per 9 this year, which is up from last year. His walk per 9 is up for 2.40. His BABIP is fine at 0.325, so it's fine. His ERA is 4.20. His expected ERA is 4.18. His FIP is 3.16, and his expected FIP is 3.22. Pitching WAR of 0.9. Looking at some other stats as well, barrel percentage is down from last year, which is nice at 7.3. Hard hit percentage though is up at 48%, so that's not great. But overall, I think Hunter Harvey is just a pretty solid middle relief pitcher. I don't think there's really anything else with him. I think he's a guy that can really lock down the 7th or 8th. The 8th you're pitching at 7th, I think really is his bread and butter. And I think it's just a very solid add for this Royals team. Now, what they gave up for him, I think might have been a little much. But, again, you're desperate for bullpen help for this Royals team. He's controllable. He's a free agent in 2026. So obviously you get him for next year as well. So I think that overall this is a very solid addition for this Royals pen. Again, this Royals team is going to be competitive. They are right now only 2 games out of the last wild card spot. I think they have all the chances in the world to be able to make the playoffs. This team is very good, and being able to get a reliever like Hunter Harvey at this point, you're getting him 2 weeks before the trade deadline as well, I think is a very solid addition, and overall, I think is someone that, is really going to end up being a big piece of your bullpen for you. Now, looking at this bullpen as well, you have some other nice pieces. John Schleber's been okay since coming over from Boston in a trade as reliever. He's been all right, but nothing crazy. Angel Zepra has been solid. Chris Stratton's been okay. James MacArthur's been solid. So, those guys have been good, but nothing crazy. And I think just adding Hunter Harvey kind of adds your MO as your bullpen core. Just okay, decent, solid guys. And overall, I think being able to get the control for next year as well is very solid, and I think that overall this is a very good pick this is a very good trade by this Royals team, being able to add to your bullpen. You'll still need more guys. I think Tanner Scott of the Marlins could be a really fantastic add for this team. I think him closing games for you would be really great. So we're looking out for that, but I think overall, just looking at it for that part, for the Royals side of it, I think it's a really good pick. It's a really good trade for this Royals team, and I like it a lot. The Nationals. I think the Nationals honestly did really, really well in this trade. Hunter Harvey is a very good player. Don't get me wrong. He's a very solid reliever. Nationals maybe could have used him next year when they're competitive, but at the same time, he's a reliever. You can find a lot of those guys anywhere. And the haul that you got, I wouldn't say haul. That kind of sounds like you're getting a lot back. The prospects you got back, I think, honestly, are really nice. You got back Caden Wallace from Kansas City, a guy who is a top 10 third base prospect, according to MLB Pipeline. 2nd round pick in 2022 from them. Is going to slide into AA and probably be up in the middle part of next year. Has some really good stats here in AA. 777 OPS. Last year as well, hit really nice in AA, 745 OPS. So I think, honestly, Wallace has some really nice hitting tools. 45 hit to a 50 power. 65 arm, 55 field, so can be able to stick at third base position, being able to hit decently well. I think, honestly, for a year and a half of an okay reliever, I think being able to get a prospect like Wallace is really, really great. I really like this trade for them, and I think overall is really nice. And they also got the 39th overall pick in the draft, and you may be thinking, well, you can't trade draft picks in MLB. Well, you're right and you're wrong. You can't trade actual draft picks, or you can trade compensatory draft picks, which is what the Royals did here, trading the 39th overall pick, which is a compensatory pick, to the Nationals, and they ended up taking Caleb Lomavita, who is a catcher from Cal. Lomavita seems like a pretty solid pick there, nothing too crazy, but being able to get the draft pick if you're choosing, not being able to just choose from some other organization, I think is a really good opportunity. And I really like this trade a lot for Washington. I think they got a really good haul back, and the Royals as well. I think they may have given up a little bit, but being able to get him 2 weeks before, jumping on the bullpen market when seeing a need and being able to get it, I think was a really good job by them. Really good job by JJ Piccolo there in Kansas City. And yeah, I like this trade a lot for both teams. Looking at this Royals team now, I think going into this trade deadline, I think they are going to be a competitive team for the rest of the year. They're very close to the wild card right now, only 2 games out of the wild card versus the Red Sox, and they do have some needs. They need to add another bullpen arm, I'd say, even after getting Hunter Harvey. Probably another bat, maybe an outfielder or an infielder. I think a guy like Tommy Pham, who's low cost, but would add a spark to your lineup hitting-wise, I think would be a really good fit. So this Royals team, I think, is very solid, has an insane pitching core. Cole Reagans, Brady Singer, Michael Wacha, Seth Lugo, I think, is absolutely fantastic. So be very interesting to watch what they do the rest of this trade line. But I think this is a really nice opening pick. I keep saying pick because I'm just in draft mode. Really nice opening trade for their deadline. Really nice way to start off the deadline for baseball fans. And yeah, I really like it. The Nationals, I'm not sure what else they're going to do at this deadline. I'm not sure if they're going to trade guys like Joey Gallo, Jesse Winker, Lane Thomas, guys who could. Gallo, I think, is going to be gone, but Winker and Thomas, a guy who's under control for next year. Winker, a guy who can help out for the future. I think both these guys are able to help out for the Nationals next year when they are going to be competitive, when all your young talent is up. But you can get a lot of good prospects back this year, so it's going to be very interesting to see what the Nationals do end up doing with this team. Cal Finnegan as well is a reliever, kind of in the same thing as Harvey, who's very good, but has a year and a half remaining on his contract, and he's a reliever, so he's you're able to replace him if you want. So I really like this trade for both sides. Really nice way to open up the trade season, and yeah, really nice trade for both sides here, and very, very excited for the deadline. We'll be doing more of this as it goes on. So yeah, that is our show for today, guys. I want to thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe to the notification bell to not only get notified when I upload, but all the other great content creators on this channel too. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. Watch the Home Run Derby tonight. It's going to be fun. I'll see if I'm right tomorrow. And yeah, thank you for watching again today so much. We'll see if baseball throws at us tomorrow. And we'll see you then. Thanks, guys, and bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.